simultaneous equations where one of the equations is quadratic, the only method we can use here is substitution. So I'm going to substitute the linear, so that's this equation, into the quadratic one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace the y here with 3x plus 2. So I can write that x squared, so in the second equation, x squared plus 3x plus 2 squared is equal to 20. And I'm going to solve this quadratic equation to find out what x is. Okay, so removing the bracket here, don't forget that when you square a bracket, what it actually means is 3x plus 2 times another 3x plus 2, and that is equal to 20. So now removing the brackets using FOIL, I've got x squared plus, well, 3x times 3x is 9x squared, plus 3x times 2, which is 6x, plus 2 times 3x, which is 6x, plus 2 times 2, which is 4, and that will equal 20. Now, if I tidy up the left-hand side here, x squared plus 10x, 9x squared, sorry, is 10x squared, plus 6x and 6x is 12x, plus 4 is equal to 20. And I know that to make a quadratic equation proper, I have to have 0 on the right-hand side there, so I'm going to subtract that 20 from both sides, which leaves me with 10x squared plus 12x minus 16 is equal to 0. Now I can see here that everything there is even, so if I now divide through by 2, I'm going to have 5x squared plus 6x minus 8 is equal to 0. Now, I'm going to be able to factorize this. There's nothing to say that I'm going to need to use the quadratic formula, so I'm going to factorize it. Now, I'm just going to do it directly, but I'll show you how you could use the crisscross method as well. 5x squared must come from doing 5x multiplied by x. We're now looking for two numbers that multiply to make minus 8, but I want to end up with 6 here in the middle. Now I can see if I put a 2 there and I put a 4 there, well, 5x times 2, that gives me 10x, and here I have my 4x. So if I put a plus here, that's going to give me positive 10x minus 4x, and 10x take away 4x is the correct 6x. If I want to use the crisscross method, remember I look at the 5, two numbers that multiply to make 5, that's 5 and 1. I now look at the minus 8, two numbers that multiply to make 8. Well, let's try 2 and 4. I'll worry about the minuses in a minute. 5 times 4 is 20. 1 times 2 is 2. I'm not going to be able to make 6 from that, so that can't be right. Let's do 5, 1, and I'm going to put the 4 here and the 2 there. Well, I can see 5 times 2 is 10. 4 times 1 is 4, which means that if I can make the 10 positive, so let's make this positive and the 4 negative, that'll give me 10 take away 4, which is 6. Correct, because I want 6 here in the middle. So my two brackets will be 5x minus 4, here it is, and 1x plus 2 rather, which is there. So there's my factorized version. If I now want to find what my x values are, then either the 5x minus 4, either that first bracket has to be 0, well, that means that 5x would have to be 4. So x is going to be, so dividing both sides by 5, x is going to be 4/5, which I'm going to change to a decimal and have as 0.8. So x is 0.8, or from this bracket, if x plus 2 is equal to 0, that means that x must be minus 2. Now for each of these, I have to find the equivalent y value. And I'm going to use the original first equation, which was y equals 3x plus 2. So y equals 3x plus 2, much easier to use than the second one. So for the first one, y is going to be, so we're going to do 3 times 0.8 plus 2. Well, that comes out as 2.4 plus 2, whoopsie, which is 4.4. And this one, when x is minus 2, y is going to be 3 times minus 2 plus 2, which is minus 6 plus 2, which is minus 4. Okay, so my two pairs of solutions are either x is 0.8 and y is 4.4. Okay, that's one pair. Or x is minus 2, y is minus 4. That's the other pair.